I'm wearing my headphones, but Richard's not going to wear his headphones because it's going to mess up his hair. Who knew that Richard Pryor Jr., the first son of the late great comedian Richard Pryor, turned out to be a fabulous gay man and a sickening queen? He's now in Chicago starring in Lipstick Goes On Last, a comedy morality play about a woman who struggles with many things, including alcoholism, a philandering husband, and her high school nemesis. Her best friend Rita also struggles with overeating, and her husband is a closeted gay man played by Richard Pryor Jr. Welcome to Feast of Fun, Richard.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
You look fantastic.
Well, of course. No, thank you.
And I saw your photos in drag. You look fierce.
Thank you.
How often? Tell us about dressing up in drag for you. Like, you see it as just an extension of your acting work, right?
Of course. To me, it's performing. Anything you do, as far as if you're in front of people or a group is gathering to see you, it's performing and it's acting. So that's the way I've always looked at it. It was never a thing for me like, I want to be a woman. What can I do to achieve that, and how can I achieve that? It was just a thing of me performing and just releasing a lot of things that were inside of me out.
Sure.
As far as performance and being very theatrical, being able to do those things.
But so unlike your character in Lipstick Goes On Last, like, because he's like sneaking behind his wife's back to dress up in drag for fun, or is this a sexual thing, or both?
The character or myself?
No, the character.
Oh, the character.
I try to trick you into saying things. I love wearing pantyhose.
The character in Lipstick Goes On Last, he's very. It's in the 70s. It takes place in the 70s, so he doesn't have the freedom to be himself.
Sure.
His thing is like being married, and this is the way it is. This is the way it has to be. So on the side, the person that he really truly loves is the other character, Bobby, who he would love to spend his life with. A man who he would love to spend his life with. The passion and everything is there with Bobby. The thing with him and Rita is that it's more of this is my best friend. Yeah. Nowadays we would probably call it a fag hag.
Okay.
So
he married her because that's what a lot of actually gay men in the 70s did.
That's what you did.
Yeah. Tell us about coming out as a gay man to your family and to your famous father. How did that process come about? How was that story?
Well, it's actually, I came out to my parents when I was in the military. I was in the Navy, and
ooh, a Navy man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Salute.
Lots of semen.
Oh yeah. And so I came out to them just via phone and everything, and my dad was all cool. He was pretty cool about it. My mother was the one that was like, "Oh, where did I go wrong?
Really?
Did I raise you wrong? What did I do?" She thought it was her fault, like it was a thing of fault. But
how old were you?
I was probably 19 or 20 or 20, somewhere around that area.
So you came out at a really young age.
Yeah. They came out and then went back in and came out again.
But you told them why did you have to tell them right then and there? Like what was the urgency?
The urgency was that I was going to get married to this girl named Sonia.
Oh.
And it was too much for me. It was like I had my gay friends that were in the military as well, and they wanted to be in the wedding, and one of them was crying. He wanted to be the flower girl and all this kind of stuff. It was just really weird, and I had this dynamic of all these, my gay friends, and then it was a straight, and it was like all of them were combining, and it was like a thing of like, I didn't want this to explode. It was like I had to put a stop to it. It was like
it was like a pressure cooker.
Oh yeah, and it was like I have to live for me, and it was a very scary thing to do that, as far as to come out to your parents and your family because of the rejection syndrome, that we all.
But your dad was in show business, and he probably seen worse things than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, and it wasn't even a thing where it was a surprise. It wasn't, we always think that nobody knows, and you find out that, oh, we knew. We just, you didn't say anything.
So you're saying your dad knew you were gay?
Oh, yes. How could he not know? I mean, there's, something we never discussed. I had actually had an episode a few years prior to that, to where I picked up living in Los Angeles at my dad's, and I stayed in the guest house, and I had picked up these 2 hitchhikers once, and they ended up staying in my house for like a week. And my dad was in Hawaii at his other home, and they were going to sell the house, had it on the market, and they were showing the house. So I went to the store, and the guy stayed at home. And then the secretary comes in to show the house, and they show them walk in the bedroom, and there's 2 naked white guys laying in the bed. And it was like, when I get home from the store, they're like up and cleaning. I'm like, what are you guys doing? They said, you haven't seen her? You haven't heard? And I'm like, no, what? And then all of a sudden she's at the door. She's like, Richard Jr., your father wants to speak to you on the phone.
Get those naked men out of this bed.
So I get on the phone and talk to my dad, and he's like, straight out he asked me, are you gay? And first thing I did was perform. It was like, how could you ask if I'm gay? There's no way I'm gay. And I just cried my way out of it. So he knew.
Yeah. And back in the day, that was kind of pretty common to pick up hitchhikers. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Especially in LA, because there's all those miles of highway.
Miles of highway.
And
those were the good old days.
I don't know. Do people still do that? I don't think people hitchhike anymore.
It'd be kind of scary right now to do that, I would think.
Yeah.
Because you'd have somebody like me, like, hey, you want to get in the car? It's like, nah.
That's all right. My father's a celebrity, and I'm a celebrity, so you can trust me. Now, you said in a past interview that it has taken me years to become comfortable saying my complete name when meeting individuals.
Correct.
When I met you just minutes ago, you said, "Hi, it's Richard."
Yeah.
Why did you say, "I'm Richard Pryor Jr., the son of the great comedian"?
That's a joke. Because, like, to me, there's no necessity for it. There's no reason for it. It just took me a long time because I wasn't comfortable in my own skin as far as who I was, who my father was. When you have to constantly live in that shadow of who your parent is, no one really gets to know who you are. And I've had instances where I've been to parties and met people, and right off the bat, someone will say, this Richard Pryor's son, and they're very nice and talk, chatty Cathy, and all this stuff. And I've also been to parties where someone would say, this is Richard, and the person will go, oh, hi, barely speak to me. And then you'll hear, 15 minutes later, somebody saying who I am, and their whole attitude changed.
Oh, absolutely.
So you feel like people are not sincere with you as an individual when they know of your famous
Exactly.
lineage.
I like to see how, what people's reactions are prior to them actually knowing. Mm-hmm. It's just...
Well, I'm sorry that I do know that your father's a famous comedian, and I can't not kiss your ass insincerely.
Once that door's opened, it's just opened for good.
I want to remind people that today's show is simulcast the first 10 minutes on YouTube, so you can check it out and see the fabulous Richard Pryor Jr. in the flesh in our home studio. But the full podcast is going to be available only on Feast of Fun. So